This podcast is being brought to you by Longleaf Landscapes. You can call them at 205-515-5602. You're listening to the 10 out of 10 podcast, where we take you on our journey exploring cities that are sports hotbeds, primarily in SEC country or throughout the South. Each week, you will learn the best places to eat, hottest venues to visit, and a few hidden gems along the way. So when you visit, your trip will also be a 10 out of 10. Welcome to the Season 2.0 preseason preview of the 10 out of 10 podcast. This season, we're kind of just switching it up. We're not doing what we did last year at all. I mean, I'm not going to say not at all. Like, we're still going to be going places and seeing what to do, eat, and see as we're watching sports. This season, we're going to be more for the girls than we were last season. Me and my friend Arnay are going to go to some games together and have a good day, tailgate, watch some sports. She's not really a football fan, so this will be interesting. She tells me she doesn't like sports, but we end up talking about the games every week, so I think girls like it more than they want to admit sometimes. So this season, though, we're deciding to kind of like switch it up as far as we're not going to go traveling everywhere. We're going to go back to our hometown and enjoy sports here more. Obviously, I'm a big Alabama fan, so I'm going to be at all the Alabama games, no matter what. Like, if it's Saturday, we're watching Alabama football, whether that's here in Birmingham at the newest, best place to watch it, or if that's back in Tuscaloosa, tailgating on the quad, sitting in our seats that we have, or if that's, we decide we might want to go to a couple away games this year. Last week I went to Auburn. That was interesting. I got to roll the trees at Toomer's Corner for the first time, and I had a good day. So we love all teams that love us, and we only root for Auburn when they're not playing teams that we like more. But all that to say, we just love a good football moment, a good tailgate day, a good brunch day. Tailgates are for the girls too, and we're going to show you our Birmingham this season.
Hi, I'm Danielle Hines, the owner and founder of Creed 63. Creed 63 is located in the Arthur Shores Law Center in the Birmingham Civil Rights District. Creed 63 does 4 things for small businesses and entrepreneurs. We have a podcast studio, co-working space, virtual offices, and private offices. Stop by anytime you are in the Civil Rights District to see how Creed 63 can help you grow and expand your small business. You can find us at creed63.com.
This week for the preseason preview, I wanted to have a special guest on. So I called my friend Justin Riley, the founder of the Bama Standard Network, who does the podcast or multiple podcasts for the Bama Standard Network. And that's the podcast I listen to get ready for game day. So I wanted to have Justin on today and tell
What's
us
going on?
what we needed to know
Glad to
going
be
into
here.
this week.
And very honored to have to be on your show, actually. So you could have picked anybody else with bigger status, but hey, I'll definitely take it.
Well, we have been wanting to hear from you since last season. You kind of were inspirational to us getting started and have helped us along the way. And so when I was thinking about the preseason preview episode, I was like, who can I have that can like just kind of give us a rundown of this season? And so obviously I listened to your podcast, so I wanted to hear from you. So this week, what's the big games we need to look for? I haven't really done my homework yet.
Well, a lot of the bigger games were this previous weekend. Things are kind of calmed down this week. We have just a couple. The biggest game being Michigan versus Texas. The Longhorns are going to travel to Ann Arbor. College game day is going to be there. Although it looks like a big game, to be honest with you, it's not going to be much of a game for very long. Texas is just too much. They have way too many weapons that Michigan has any way of stopping, to be honest with you. Michigan is still trying to find their identity after losing a lot of their star power to both graduation and the NFL draft. They don't have the quarterback situation figured out. just too many questions right now for the Wolverines. I don't feel like they have the star power or the dudes actually to be able to hang with Texas. It might be tight for a few minutes just because of the atmosphere in Ann Arbor and everybody's going to be there. But soon reality is going to check in and Texas is going to win that game handily.
I agree with you there. What do you think, Eric?
Let me say this. I there was a short period of time where I was an SEC homer, but because of all the hate Alabama got, especially towards the middle and end of the Nick Saban years, the rest of the SEC can kiss my ASS. Now, if an SEC team wins the national championship, you'll see me shouting SEC, SEC, SEC. But during the season, I'm not that guy that really cheers for anyone else in the SEC unless it's an out-of-conference team that I really want to see embarrassed. Right now, there are no teams like that. Maybe Ohio State. So as far as Texas, Michigan, I have family in Michigan, so Texas is going to win, but I'll be cheering for the Wolverines.
I completely understand.
You heard it here first, everyone. Eric doesn't cheer for anyone but the Tide. So, what do you think about the Auburn-UCLA matchup this weekend?
It's going to be an interesting test for Auburn. They are still trying to get everything together. Last year, Hugh Freeze's first season, they didn't exactly finish the way they wanted to. There's just a great talent disparity, and I don't feel like that they had the right parts to really fit what Hugh Freeze's game plan was. They're getting better. They've made a lot of great moves in the offseason. They've done very well in recruiting. Of course, this past weekend, they didn't really have much of a test. They played a smaller school, which doesn't really give a good indicator of where your team is at. But this is going to be a good test. UCLA is a really good team, but I want to pull for the SEC, but to be honest with you, I just don't know what Auburn's got right now. I'm leaning towards UCLA, but I'll go ahead and go with my gut. Auburn wins in a very close contest by a field goal.
I like that. That's a good analysis. I will say I went to the Auburn A&M game, and I will also say that I didn't pay a lot of attention to the Auburn A&M game. I loved the band at halftime, the A&M game, but I was honestly there kind of networking, watching the Alabama game in the box, all those things. So I couldn't get a fair view of that either. So it's a toss-up for me for that one. So any other very important games, or should we move on?
Interesting game to watch. Tennessee's playing NC State. That's a top 25 matchup. NC State surprisingly struggled against a way inferior opponent this past weekend, but you never really grade a team based on week one. If a team is peaking in week one, you got problems. But what's interesting is continuing to watch Tennessee's quarterback Nico excuse me. It's hard to pronounce. Forgive me. I'm from Mississippi. Iamaleava.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is a stud. If Alabama fans need a comparison, he's similar to Tua Tagovailoa.
Wow.
I'm an Alabama guy, and I know that Bama fans don't want to hear it, but he's the real deal. It's always interesting to watch what he'll do and the product he'll put out in the field. He's going to be a problem in the SEC this year, so get ready. But, yeah, definitely tune into that. Other than that, of course, the game is Alabama versus South Florida.
Right. The game of the week. I'll be there. Are you coming to the game?
I will definitely be at the game, the dedication of Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny. I will be there, but also we will be having our podcast, The Bama Standard, at the Paul W. Bryant Museum Friday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be there to preview the game this week, and we'll have some former legends, Alabama legends that is, on our panel, asking them some questions about this current team and also tying it back to their playing days. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a good time. Something I definitely want to make sure I attend. And then also, I want to let everyone know that 10 out of 10 is doing a tailgate the next day, and we're inviting the Bama Standard to tailgate with us.
Well, we will be a part of any and everything that is Bama, so
Roll Tide.
we're all for it.
This week's 10 out of 10 is House of Found Objects. I recently went there for the first time. I've been hearing about this bar for a while, and I wanted to try it. All my friends are like, let's go there, let's go there. I don't know how I haven't made it till a couple weeks ago. I finally stepped in, and let me just say, they are in the running for my new favorite bar. As you all know, I was a big fan of Casanova's. They're currently not open. They will reopen soon somewhere else in a different location. And I'll definitely be there to let y'all know how that goes. I think it might be a good football spot this year. But all that to say, I've been traveling around to different bars lately to find my new spot. And in competition for this new spot is House of Found Objects. Have y'all been to it before? Anyone in the room? It's a vibe. I'm not gonna give it all away because you kind of just have to trust it and go inside because it's like a fun experience. I'll say that. There are costumes involved. There are secret, I don't know what secrets. They have secrets there. Certain costumes, if you put them on, certain music will be played. If you put certain costumes on, you may have a job passing out cookies to people. I'm just saying, you go in there and the world might be turned upside down for you, but it's all in the best fun way. And just trust me, you have to try the eggnog shot. I don't do shots, but this was good. And the bartender made it special and said, this is his signature drink. And I was like, is this not just a Christmas seasonal thing? He was like, yeah, usually, but I make them all year round. So ask for the eggnog shot. And also they have different areas of the place. There's games. You can play games there. There's a photo booth. There's bubbles involved. And it sounds like I gave it all away, but I promise I didn't. So check out House of Found Objects. Shout out to them. So looking forward to next week, I want to just let y'all know we're going to be starting with Hoover High School for next week's episode. And we will look for the best places to eat, best things to do, best things to see in Hoover. And we're going to find you a great story of an athlete who came from Hoover High School. And we are supporting them this season. We're supporting many schools this season on Friday nights. So we want to, kind of give you a Friday Night Light update. We want to give you a college update. And we still have our pregame drip contest that we like to discuss. So follow us on our social media at Jenna 10 out of 10. And you can vote on the pregame drip contest this season. We will have a champion at the end. We will have a champion of bar at the end. And we will have a champion tailgating venue at the end. We're just here to try it all and recommend the best places for you in whatever city you end up in Birmingham. We want to tell you about places you can rent that weekend if you want to come to town and stay in the specific area that we mentioned. We want to tell you all the things that we've been telling you. It's just about Birmingham this time. As always, roll Tide and War Eagle sometimes when we have to. This podcast was brought to you by Longleaf Landscaping. You can call them at 205-515-5602 for all your commercial landscaping needs. Thank you for listening to the 10 out of 10 podcast. Follow our travels every Victory Monday on YouTube and Apple Podcast, and extra content on Instagram at Genesee Harkness. Until next time, make each day a 10 out of 10.